Hey everyone, this is Gunner Stoffer again. Yeah, I just got back from spending the weekend at my grandma's place. So, anyways, I actually did manage to catch the season finale of My Little Pony, and eh, I think Twilight is kind of cool with wings, uh, but I know this is gonna be part one of three, since since this story arc is gonna continue into season 4. So who knows what's gonna happen. So uh, anyways, this is the last topic that I'll be doing, possibly, if I feel like doing the Pinkie Pie sequels. Alright, this last one is Fluttering Hearts, which this time it's centered on Fluttershy. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, I guess. Well, alright, here's Fluttering Hearts by Taw. Fluttering Heart are other generic names for Flutter waifu fiction. Actually, there's this one like story that involves a pony OC with Fluttershy, and actually it's pretty good. Actually, it's called the Recluse. You should check it out. Happy birthday! Climbing to your feet only after Pinky's verbal assault bowled you over. You could only stare at her with a questioning face. Not only had you not told her it was your birthday due to the ponies not using the Gregorian calendar, you had no idea it was your birthday. Of course I knew, silly. My party sense twitched, and then I knew for sure. Gotta go though. So much to do. Happy birthday. Pinky spoke at a million miles an hour before rushing off as fast as she rushed towards you, leaving the end of her sentence trailing off into the breeze. Huh, it was your birthday. Interesting. You made a mental note to write the date when you got home, and continued on your way. You're going to visit Fluttershy to bring her some medical stuff from the local vets. Wandering along the little used path, you stared upwards, lazily daydreaming for most of the long walk. The everfree forest grew larger as you made your way to the brim, spotting Fluttershy's cottage from quite a distance away. As you made your way towards it, your mind drifted back to the first time the two of you had met. The first day you arrived, whether by chance or by fate, she was the first one to find you. You had been hiding naked behind a tree as you tried to determine whether the medium-sized yellow creature flying towards you was friendly or not. You called out a half-muffled hello while peeking out of the tree. The pink-haired quadruped jumped with an audible squeak, hiding behind a nearby rock. Taking this as a sign of aggression, you hid yourself behind the tree again and waited in silence, scared out of your mind that your new surroundings was going to kill you mere moments after you arrived. Minutes had gone by before Fluttershy brought up the courage to speak a quiet hello back, slicing through your fear and replacing it with confusion in an instant. It had still taken about 10 minutes for the two of you to actually gain the courage to come and see each other, but that was all in the past now. You are much braver now, and at least where she was concerned. Fluttershy was the mare you owed everything to, the one who'd gone out of her way to convince the rest of Ponyville that not only were you not a threat, you were just as intelligent as they were. The one who fought tooth and hoof to help you move into the small uninhabited shack at the edge of town so you wouldn't have to sleep outside another night. She easily lived up to her status as bearer of kindness in your opinion. You didn't mind bringing her things from town. She would deserve every step, even if you didn't enjoy the long, peaceful walk. It was nice. First First, from having some time to yourself, as ponies didn't seem to appreciate personal space in quite the same way you were used to, and mostly because Fluttershy was at the end of it. More than your savior, she became your very best friend over the past weeks and months. Oh, that's nice. Nearing her door, you started to catch snippets of her voice in the wind. This was normal. Fluttershy spent most of the day tending and talking to her animal friends. And if the winds were right, you could easily catch what she was saying. Oh, I'm not sure about this. I don't. Oh my, I couldn't. Oh, this is a bad idea. What if he doesn't? Something was up. Fluttershy seemed stressed. Putting the medicines and equipment down, you sneakily ran to the door and peeked through the window. Nothing. Nothing was stirring. Not even a mouse. What is this, going towards the night before Christmas all of a sudden? Fluttershy was in trouble, you thought. Your mind filling with worry, concern, and anger. How dare any pony threaten her? Stealing your worried nerves, you stood up, swinging open her door and running into the house, ready to defend her at the slightest provocation. Movement. Swinging your arm out to hit the fast-moving pig blur in an angry haze. You almost unbalance yourself due to inexperience. Happy birthday! The pinky blur shouted as she zipped around your arm and past your ear. Swinging the door closed behind you, her over-eager attitude and fast reactions letting her beat the other ponies in the room. Half the town, it seemed, to jumping out and yelling, "Surprise! Surprise!" Diving behind Fluttershy's hiding couch to escape their glares and get your head back together, hoping the adrenaline rush would subside as quickly as your murderous rage, as your mind came to terms with Fluttershy's worries being about you, not her. The nervous laughs of the ponies in the room, combined with the three thuds of what you can only assume was the Flower Sisters fainting, was enough to convince you of their good intentions, calling out with a similarly nervous laugh and thanking everyone for the surprise. You've never been much good in a crowd, whether it was a crowd of people or a crowd of ponies. Ponies seemed to be worse, even as they weren't used to introversion. You tried your best to be polite, of course putting in the right thank yous and you too, silently cursing the lack of alcohol at this party. Though they had it, it was generally looked down upon, much to your dismay. Staring slightly into space, you wondered how long you'd have to put up with this. You were expecting a relaxing chat with a friend, not an appointment with the entire town. I guess if I was in a party like this, I'd probably have to start drinking just to calm my nerves down. Oh, would you mind terribly if I borrow him for a while? You heard at the edge of your hearing, your ears immediately picking up at the sound of Fluttershy's sweet voice. Turning your head back, you spotted her mumbling to the ponies currently holding you hostage. One of the Flower Sisters, her mane looking very abused, and a stallion named Colton. I believe that's Daisy you're talking about, right? Oh, Fluttershy, of course you can, Rose said before turning to you. Bye now, enjoy your birthday. Yeah, you too, whispering thank you to your repeated savior as the two of you retired to two chairs in the corner. You sighed in relief, looking forward to spending time with her in her company. I thought you looked like you needed rescuing. I hope you don't mind. Fluttershy half-jokingly apologized when she was sure her light voice was out of earshot from the rest of the party. Pausing for a moment while you smiled at her, she continued. I picked up those medicines, by the way. Thanks for bringing them most of the way. If you don't mind me asking, why did you drop them? Ah, that. Putting on your best embarrassed tone, you explained why you were thinking as you came upon her worried voice on the wind. Oh my, thank you. Thanks for always looking out for me. You told her that she deserved it. She'd always done the same for you, and without her, you'd be. You didn't want to think about where you'd be without her in your life. It was a depressing thought, so you simply flashed her a strange smile and started downing your drink. Again, wishing the fruit juice had a bit more kick to it. I've never really liked big parties either, but Pinky put so much effort into them, I couldn't disappoint her. She admitted, sending back your uneasy smile. But the party's moving on into town later. You could She trailed off, looking down at her hoof before staring out into the remaining party, where the conga line had already begun to form. Ponies were very good at acting drunk, even without any sort of drugs in their system. That's cool. You could stay here. I have to help some of my animal friends, but I wouldn't mind the company. She finished, smiling softly and looking at you hopefully. You'd love to, of course, even if that wasn't just an excuse to leave the party train of overactive ponies you've had agreed. Oh, how wonderful. I hope you don't mind getting a bit dirty. I could really use a helping hoof for some of my animals. She offered, pausing as you brought your free hand up and wiggled your fingers at her. A hand is too good. She giggled and leaned down to take a sip of her own drink. I've been thinking lately, and I wanted to say thank you for everything. I don't know what I'd do without you these days. She quietly announced, pausing a moment while her cheeks grew a little redder. For the supplies, I mean, medicine, stuff, helping and stuff. She squeaked. Was she? She couldn't be. The two of you were friends, very, very good friends, but nothing more. You, of course, had fallen in love with her long ago, but were quite content with the current situation. You knew she would never put you out of your comfort zone without good reason. So you would give her the same, and you got to spend plenty of time with her, whether it was helping out with animals, cooking meals, or just chatting. Hey, you and Fluttershy, you coming? You're gonna miss the music. Oh no, sorry. I have far too much to do, and the birthday boy has very kindly offered to help. But please, don't let it stop you enjoying the party. Bonbon shrugged as she followed the tail of the line of ponies out of the door, leaving the two of you alone. As the wooden door clunked against the doorframe, swinging shut, both of you relaxed into your chairs, breathing out stress neither of you had realized you were carrying. Oh, thank goodness. Now I can speak normally. Fluttershy said with a grin, her voice sounding approximately exactly the same as it did before. Well, we should really get going. It'll be dark soon, and there's so much to do. Finishing her drink in one long gulp, motioning for you to do the same, Fluttershy rose up on her beautiful wings and soared through her house and out of the open door as you hurried along behind her, grabbing the bag of equipment on her table as you passed. Walking out together to a clearing on the very edge of the Everfree Forest, where sick, injured, or needy animals congregate to receive Fluttershy's loving attention. The two of you chat as she explains what the things you brought her for the herbal painkillers to help fluffy animals get through minor scrapes and pains, to splints and bandages to fix the worst injuries, and a quick explanation on how they all work. Eventually making it, walking into the grassy field and setting out the equipment, the two of you sat down on the small thick blanket, It was really just built for one pony, but the two of you squeezed together anyway. None of the animals had turned up yet. Sitting there, feeling her fur against your skin, you thought back to what she said earlier. You'd always had a maybe one day hope, but never expected anything to come of it. Maybe it would be worth taking a leap of faith and just asking her about it. Fluttershy, you started about before. What she had said before, halfway through your question, she turned her head to look at you and sighed. Her voice barely over a whisper. She started to admit it. I wish I could be more, what's the word Rainbow used? Assertive. I wish I could be more assertive and confident, but I'm worried that if I say it, I might lose what I have now. The rest of the conversation was wordless, spoken in the instant as your eyes met each other, and you knew that you shared the same fears for the same reason. I felt them fall away as it became clear that they were unfounded. Both of you opened your mouths at the same time and started to speak over each other, but the words were the same. Almost the same time anyway, as Fluttershy pounced away, following a pained call for some small critter, calling backwards, telling you to hurry and bring the splints. Covering up to her with the equipment bag in your hand, you found her kneeling over a small black cat covered in blood and open wounds, like it had been mauled, and a much healthier one standing a few feet away. The groove in the ground from where the latter had carried the former was deep and extended as far as you could make out into the forest. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, Fluttershy repeated under her breath, shivering slightly as she tried to take in the battered, bloody mess beneath her. Reaching out to her, you asked what you should do, but she didn't react. Fluttershy? Fluttershy! Still nothing. You could hear the pained breath on the kitten beneath you as its life slipped out of its claws, and knew that it needed Fluttershy's help now. Grasping her face in both your hands, you pulled towards her, turning your head and meeting her lips with your own, slipping your tongue between them as you gasped when her concentration broke. Closing her eyes and starting to move her own tongue, you gave her 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping your grip on your head, you pulled away. Both of you breathing heavily. The thin bridge of saliva joining the two mouths broke as soon as you started to talk. Telling her that she needs to concentrate, that this animal needs help, and she's the only one who could do it. You can help, but you don't know what to do. She does. Okay. She stammered before you, watching her shaking wings retract into her body and her eyes grow harder. Okay, hand me those cloths and the green herbs on the left. Then hold it still. Please don't let go. Doing as she asked, you tried your best to hold the writhing animal steady without hurting it, while Fluttershy did what she could, grinding the herbs between her hooves and liberally applying them to the worst areas, watching as they worked their magic and began to heal. Before too long, the cat's breathing returned to a steady pace, and its eyes didn't look so pained anymore. Handing Fluttershy some splints when prompted, you watched as Fluttershy finished up, tying the clothes around the splinted limbs to keep them straight and clean. Taking one final look to make sure she'd done everything she could, she turned to the cat's friend and told it to keep her friend safe and warm, and come back a few days so the bandages could be changed, but that she'd be okay, and that she did the right thing, bringing her here. Watching as the cat pick up her friend and carry her back, presumably to their home, Fluttershy waited until they were out of sight and earshot before sitting down in shock. Sitting beside her and wrapping an arm around her back, you sat there with her in silence for a while. She rested your head on your shoulder, breathing deeply and lightly shaking. Thank you, she eventually whispered, her jaw pushing against your shoulder as she spoke. I just didn't know what to do. It was so hurt. I didn't know where to start. But then you. Thank you. Would you mind taking me home? I don't think anything else is coming. You told her you didn't mind at all. Wrapping your other arm around her lower body and picking her up, started to walk back to Fluttershy's home. As you left the forest, Fluttershy let out a happy squeak as she spied the setting sun over the distant mountains. Oh, that's beautiful. Maybe we should rest here a while. You found your way to the nearest tree and sat down against it, letting Fluttershy rest against your chest and arms, feeling her mane drop over your exposed skin. The two of you sat there as the fading light of day began to fail. We were interrupted before, weren't we? I think I was about to say Fluttershy started, but you cut her off with a finger to her lips. It doesn't need to be said, you whispered, lightly kissing her. Pulling back, making sure you weren't forcing her into anything. She surprised you by following your head and overbalancing you, sending you both of you falling to the ground. Neither of you cared. I've never gone any further before, she started, presumably starting to tell you she was taking things slow. But I want to, for you, for us. Apparently not wanting to take things slow, then, but her pleading eyes couldn't be disagreed with. Your only answer was to kiss her again, more forcefully this time, grabbing her around the waist and rolling over into her, pinning her to the ground. You dreamed of this day, but never really held out any hope for it coming true until now. Pushing yourself up, you begin to nibble down at the edge of her ear. Oh my, that feels so good, she whispered in a low voice. Move in with me. What? I don't want you to go. I have room. You can bring your stuff later, but please don't leave me alone. Not tonight, not tomorrow. Again, your answer was simply to press your lips against hers, parting them slightly and lightly sucking on her lower lip as she smiled and her eyes fluttered closed. Trusting that she put enough thought into that decision, and that it wasn't on the spur of the moment, you felt their foreheads close around your neck as she hugged you tighter and closer, forcing herself deeper into your mouth as she gives into her desires, trusting that you share them completely. The sun now having set completely, the two of you lay together in the field in relative darkness, the cool chill of night not yet having set in, losing yourselves to kiss and cuddles as you slowly rolled across the field as both of you took turns slowly ravishing the other. Eventually you came to the mutual decision that it was time to move on. Pushing the two of you around with the leg, you pinned her down properly and began to plant your kisses around her neck. You asked her if she wanted to head back inside for this, but she shook her head. I love the outside. Oh yes, keep doing that. It's where all my animal friends live. They always seem to like it when I pet them, but nobody does that for me. She whispered down at you, raising your body from hers. You lowered your hand to her belly and started to rub and scratch, emulating the same sort of thing you do to a pet. She seemed to enjoy it as much, moaning lightly as her mouth broke into a smile. Raising your other hand to her head, you began to scratch behind her ear, brushing the hair aside with a finger and finding joy in watching her body writhe in the pleasure of your touch. Slowly, gently, you begin to rub lower and lower. The edge of your broad strokes starting to slide up her pert teats. Lower. Fluttershy breathlessly requested in response to your slow pace. Abandoning the belly rubs, you started to run a single finger down between her two mounds. Starting to feel a slight dampness around her arousal as you get closer to her unused slit. Feeling its growing lubrication, you gently inserted a finger lightly running in and out in response to her groan. Feeling her tail pull around under your legs as she shuddered in enjoyment. Watching her eyes as they pierce into you, demanding more, you start to unzip and lower your trousers, leaving your long erect penis to wobble out, released and ready to rock. Looking up at Fluttershy, you caught her staring down at it, a hopeful but worried look on her face as she stares down at the tool she's never before used. Carefully aligning yourself, you press the head of your cock against her wet vag, slowly starting to push, feeling her tight walls press against her length as it slowly inserted further. You watch Fluttershy's face contorted in a mixture of pain and pleasure. Eventually, as you hilted yourself, Fluttershy let out the breath she'd been holding and started to pant. You asked her if it felt good, but she couldn't bring herself to speak, instead just frantically nodding. Taking that as a sign of encouragement, you start to slowly thrust in and out, anchoring yourself against her by holding just below her forearms. Moving with her as her back began to arch as the new sensations wore through her body. You continued your slow dance, her inexperienced tightness driving pleasure through your own body in tandem with hers as both of you bit on your lower lips to avoid scaring the nearby animals. Still panting, Fluttershy motioned with her hoof for you to come closer. Leaning down to her so her light whispers could be heard, you paused momentarily so she could wrap her hooves around your neck once more to kiss you. Pulling your head around so she could whisper straight into your ear, Fluttershy paused and gathered her breath before whispering a single word. Harder. Before another pause and another word. Please. Releasing you to consider her request, you straightened up and grabbed hold of her once more, tightly around the waist this time as you increased your frequency, penetrating her rapidly as both of you barely stifled the mountain groans the activity prompted. Watching her wings flutter about as she started to lose control over her body, you felt the vibrations and spasms from your forceful slams running up her body as she approached the edge of orgasm for the first time. Feeling your own end nearing, you gritted your teeth and carried on, feeling the brush of her fur against your skin each time you filled her deep and hearing her almost silent gasps and grunts at the height of each thrust. Feeling her body begin to spasm untempered, and watching her eyes start to roll up into her head as her back arched and her wings flapped on their own accord. You felt her tight new walls begin to contract around you as she tipped over the edge of mindless pleasure. Her contractions quickly bring you to the same state as you started to lose your hot semen into her. Hearing her gasp with delight at the sensation, before both of you collapsed to the ground, breathing deeply and trying to catch your breath. Eventually, she recovered enough to roll over and look at you, staring into your eyes until she could speak. That was nice. Thank you. We should do that again sometime. Without another word, she shuffled closer to you, pressing her warm fur against your skin, contrasting with the now chilly night air before raising a wing to rest it over your body, wrapping it around your back to keep your entire body warm. Snuggling her head onto your chest, she with a little difficulty wrapped her tail around most of your legs, whispering into you that maybe it'd be nice to just sleep out here, together on the soft ground under the beautiful night sky. You really couldn't disagree. Oh, that was nice. Alright, here's a comment from Nico Bladen. I'm shocked at how quickly the intimate scenes last. Still, this is fantasy, you know. You could give your characters a little more endurance for story's sake, of course. And Todd's response from it. In this case, it was partially stylistic, partially just lack of ability. Fluttershy to me seems far too vanilla to have many fetishes yet, which kind of left me either artificially lengthening it, which I assume would get boring, or having it relatively short. In other cases, it's just shitty writing though. Nighty says, I don't usually waifu fag Fluttershy, but I might start having to do so. Really sweet story. I agree with Nico though. I do wish your intimate scenes would last a little longer and go into a bit more detail. And Rainbow's Crush agreed. And in response, Toss says, I'm sorry, Rainbow's Crush and guest. I'll try to apply better fetishes to cartoon equines next time. Maybe then I'll be worthy of your respects. Until then, I shall wallow in undeserved self-pity and curse the heavens. Alright, Swiper the Fox, he says joyous reading, and he sends an image of Fluttershy singing Winter Wrap Up, and there's 5 hearts. Rubber Bungs like showed the links to in the yellow and pink, teaching Fluttershy Equestria's first human. These are shaping to be such stories, which is actually true. I've read Equestria's First Human before, and I mean I haven't read all of it, but I have read the sequel to it, Sweetie's Crush, and yeah, the main character in the story does get with is actually now going out with Fluttershy now. And Jamie9897 in response, wow, I don't think I read any of these things, so I'll get to them right away. You're very welcome, friend. If you know of any other decent human and Flutter's romance, please let me know. Just avoid the ones that are grimdark as fuck. Urist McUseless Migrant. Well, now I'm having sexual thoughts about the most innocent of ponies. Time to join the GRN team, the sexual one. Techna Hooves says, I demand chapter 2, please. Jerry Qwerty. Well, wow. Normally I don't enjoy human on pony clock fics, but this is well written. Green thumbed. I'll try to go through your collection and see what else is good. Vladimir Zarkov. This is pretty much the perfect short story. I really like how the OC wasn't a douchebag like they are in many others. Contrary to some people's opinions, the ending really wasn't too abrupt or too long. I think it was the perfect length for a story like this. Also, it really says something if you can throw little bits of humor into a somewhat serious story like you did. Always rock on and keep up what you're doing. You have talent, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Which is actually really true. Ta is like Ta is like a really good writer. Well, I am now officially finished with the main 6. With the main 6 waifu fics. Well, that is. Well, that is if I wanna read the sequels to A Date with the Pink Pony, or that Rainbow Dash Spitfire one that I've probably heard of. And I know that there's one with Rarity that involves lactating. I've read it before, and lactation's not my thing. And I do know that there's actually a waifu fic with Princess Celestia, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I should like read a more serious story to balance out the clop all the clop stuff I've been reading. So, oh, I know I should start getting into Final Dreams of a Philly, and possibly finish The Eternal Gift, but. But you have to. I mean, sorry to make you wait and all that shit, but Well, alrighty then. Alright, this is Game Orleans 211 signing off.